Hello YouTube, Enlightened Atheist here. I am responding to a video done by a famous celebrity, Russell Brand, about how Stephen Fry answered a question on a TV show that he was asked to make an appearance on. The TV show was hosted by a Irish Catholic, and the Irish Catholic asked Stephen Fry, suppose it's all true and you walk up to heaven, to the pearly gates, and you're confronted by God. What would Stephen Fry say to God? And Stephen Fry kind of goes a bit off the rails here and gets really quite angry. Firstly, Stephen Fry brings up the totally valid points of bone cancer in children. Why would a all-loving, all-powerful God allow such suffering on a human who has done nothing wrong? And of course, Russell Brand then goes on to dismiss all of this within one sentence.
Gospels, and other than like mentioning some phenomena in nature like burrowing insects and that, talking entirely about human behaviour and human value systems.
I'm sorry, but what does insects burrowing into children's eyes have to do with human doctrine? Russell Brand then proceeds to talk about how religion is a metaphor for life and for everything. But then he says that science is the trying to understand the unknowable. How the hell can you understand the unknowable? It's unknowable, for God's sake. Science, by definition of the Oxford Dictionary, is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behaviour of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. It can't explain the unknowable because the unknowable is unknowable. Surely simple logic would tell a smart guy like Russell Brand that. Then Russell Brand goes on to talk about the meaning of life, and I just can't help thinking, what the hell has this got to do with your interpretation of Stephen Fry's words, or what Stephen Fry said? Then Russell Brand just drones on for about 2.5 minutes on the argument called biocentrism. And this is pretty much just the argument that because life on Earth seems so perfect for humans, that it must have been placed there by a all-powerful God. And because the universe seems to be suitable for us, then it must have been put there. But there have been many, many, many counter-arguments to this. The most important probably being that 99.999999999 recurring, almost recurring percent of the universe is not suitable for humans. So let's just think about this. I'm an all-powerful God. I have a chosen people as humans, and the only place I can think to put them is one tiny little planet in a vast, vast expanse of empty space, populated by nothing more than rocks, the occasional star, and great clouds of gas. I mean, just to give you an example of how big the universe is, It is 4 light years to the nearest cluster of stars, or star. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is 4.37 light years away. So even going fastest speed possible, it would take you 4.39 years to get there. All of that expanse between us is empty space. So after that, Russell Brand shows a clip of Stephen Fry saying how some bits of Jesus' teachings were complete rubbish, like the whoever is without sin cast the first stone, and he makes the perfectly valid point that everybody has sin, so you have to take the smaller sins and judge them against the bigger sins. Otherwise, with Jesus' logic, nobody would go to prison and there would be no justice system because, according to Jesus' logic, stealing some sweets from a corner shop would be equal to murdering 20 people. But Russell Brand actually responds to this well, with the argument that all humans have that ability to commit wrong within themselves or to others, and they have the duty to moderate their own sense of right and wrong. Russell Brand then goes on to cite a woman called Jill Bolte Taylor, and she was a brain scientist or neurologist who suffered from a brain hemorrhage, and a brain hemorrhage is a clotting of blood in the brain. Now this clotting, it affected her left side of the brain, and this then led her to believe that the left side of the brain was responsible for everything to do with daily life and like organising stuff, past and future. And the right side of the brain was to do with experiencing everything in the now. But, however, this is putting the brain into a really, really simplified down version of how it works. To be perfectly honest, no scientist truly knows how the brain functions. Therefore, it would be wrong to classify each side of the brain as being absolute, to directly go against, to be for one purpose or a group of purposes. But then Russell Brand goes on to say that all consciences are linked, which is complete rubbish when you're going through the many billions of people on this earth. I can't imagine what is going through a conscience of somebody living in Asia or South Africa. There is also no evidence whatsoever that there's a force behind everything, and that's anything like consciousness. Russell Brand then goes on to say that it doesn't matter that there is a God, but it does matter that there's suffering. But then, why as a theist would you say that? And why would an all-powerful, all-loving God need humans to love and help each other. He then goes on to blurt out the rubbish that there's something timeless and spaceless and whole that consumes everything, which is... Oh, I don't seem to see any evidence for it. Yeah, can you please provide any? And the answer to that question is no, he can't. He even goes on to say that nobody can explain it. But nobody can explain it because it doesn't exist. Anyway, if you liked, then liked. If you favourite, then favourite. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you have anything else to say, put it in the comments. I'll try and read them. But this has been Enlightened Atheist signing off.